Derek Brunson, the longtime UFC veteran, former Strikeforce fighter as well, been in the UFC for about a decade, is now in the PFL, and he is actually going to be a part of their, from what we were told, light heavyweight tournament, if you will, next season. But he is squeezing one in for the finale, the PFL finale on November 24th in DC. He's going to be fighting as a middleweight against Ray Cooper, who is coming up from 170. Old friend Derek Brunson is back. Let's say hello to him right now. There he is. Derek, how are you? This looks like a fake background. Is this real? Where are you right now?
This is a real background. You know, I just left training. My eyes probably look a little crazy. I got an eye exam. So, yeah, I had to go with a little improv situation, and here we are.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. Congratulations on the deal. Can you explain to us how you ended up in the PFL? Because initially you were booked in a fight, then there was no fight, and then we weren't sure what you were doing, and then you end up in the PFL. How did this whole thing happen from the time you were in the UFC until about last week when it was announced that you were coming to the PFL?
It's kind of a complicated situation, you know. I would say it was kind of a mutual thing in terms of it was getting a little tough to get up for these fights, you know, when I've been on these long streaks and, you know, I felt I deserved a title shot, but I wasn't able to get one. So, you know, it was just kind of getting tough getting up for these UFC fights. So I kind of wanted a new challenge, and we found an opportunity that presented a new challenge, and we took it.
Did you ask the UFC to release you?
I would say that's fair, yes.
Okay. You were booked to fight Roman Dolidze, though, right? In New York City.
Correct.
So what happened? You accepted that fight, and then you were feeling like it just wasn't exciting you, and then you asked, hey, you know what, could we just part ways?
Well, it was more of it wasn't exactly like that. It really had nothing to do with Roman. It was just like, it was a collaboration of things. I would say, you know, just being a guy that's been in the game for a while, you know, you definitely need to get up for these fights, and you need to get up for these top fights. And if it's not, if you're not feeling the same way towards that promotion, and, you know, maybe it's best to go a different way if possible.
In the back of your mind, when you asked to part ways, was the PFL the place where you wanted to be, or did you just want to see what was out there, what the market, you know, what the market thought about Derek Brunson?
Yeah, PFL was one of my top priorities, you know, and I definitely wanted to see what the market felt about Mr. Brunson. You know, at that time I was ranked, you know, I believe 7 or 8 in the UFC rankings, you know, so I felt I had a lot of value, and I feel I have a lot left in the tank with these fights, and I kind of wanted a new challenge and a new refresher, something to get me motivated, something to get me excited. Because UFC, I just wasn't getting excited for these fights anymore. You know, it's just kind of like the same thing for all these years.
A lot of, you know, I guess you could say older UFC fighters, they have now tried their hand in boxing, and I know you've kind of thrown that out there as well. Did you consider the boxing route as well?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I look at myself as a lifetime athlete. You know, I'm always going to be training no matter what. So, you know, I'm always going to be evolving, getting better, learning new things. So, yeah, definitely. I would definitely box. You know, that's something I really wanted to, like, own that part of martial arts. And I've really been working on my stand-up and working on the cardio. So, yeah, that's definitely something that I would do in the future.
So could I ask, the deal that you got from PFL, better than the UFC deal?
Absolutely.
Much better?
Absolutely.
How much better? 2 times, 3 times?
Much better.
Wow. Okay, so you're happy. This all worked out well for you.
For sure, yeah. It definitely, I mean, and the same situation might not work for every single person, but for me, yeah, it definitely worked out better for me. You know, it's a new motivation, a new venture. And it's just, you know, I think kind of was like grandfathered in this thing in the UFC. You know, I had pretty good fights on my contract. I've been fighting for a long time. I've been fighting in the top 10. And I was kind of like, you know, stuck in a little spot where, you know, I wasn't getting my value, I would say. And it's not really anyone's fault, but I felt, like I said, PFL definitely took care of me, so I want to go out there and put on good fights and take care of them.
So are you going to be part of their light heavyweight, for lack of a better word, tournament or division next year? Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan also. That's the plan as of right now. You know, the first fight is November 24th against Ray Cooper at 185. And then the plan after that is a fight 205. You know, I get to eat, not cut all this weight, and go from there.
So why is the first fight on November 24th at 185 and not 205? I know Cooper is coming from 170, but why didn't you ask for just like a 205 fight to prepare you for 205 next year?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. But it was the opportunity, a fight that was readily available. And, I'm kind of in that 85 mode and give me time to get to 205. So it kind of works out.
Okay, and you feel better because one thing that I've heard from the likes of Anthony Pettis and Rory McDonald, if you're in this season format, it's hard to cut weight so often. So do you feel by going to 205, like if you were just signing with them to take one-off fights, perhaps 205 isn't the best place, but because you're going to have to cut weight, every 2-3 months, it's best to do 205 as opposed to put that strain on your body and keep going down to 185?
Yeah, I think that's a good factor or a good way to look at things. If you're going to continuously be making weight, then stay within your range and go out there and fight.
A lot of former UFC fighters haven't fared very well in the PFL format. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I would guess a lot of former fighters when they left the UFC to go to a different organization, maybe they wasn't ranked in the top 10, but I still had a lot of value there, and I'm still getting better and fighting. I'm still fighting good. I think one of the biggest things for me that I figured out recently was just learning to push that pace and being able to get back to that road work. Like I haven't done road work in like 5 or 6 years, but for the last 6 to 7 weeks, I've been running twice a week and putting 7 to 9 miles in a week. So that's going to look real good when I'm trying to keep that pace and not fading in the late rounds.
And there was never any point, like, in any part of you that thought about calling it a career? Because there was some talk recently, I think, like maybe you would call it a career. Did you consider that seriously?
I think I was getting bored and burnt out. Like I said, the whole redundant same thing. It's just different. Look at a guy like Sean Strickland. He got the opportunity when he got the fight with Izzy. He was ranked number 7. When he fought Izzy, he was ranked number 5. But he got the opportunity. I'm sure when he got the call, he probably went in the mountains of Vegas and probably ran like 7 to 10 miles. It's just a different motivation. It's just a different level, a different pay grade. So you're motivated. But when you keep getting these calls, when you're on a nice streak, and it's like, you win this fight, you'll get a title shot. And then it's like, okay, you win that fight, and you're like, oh, let's do a title eliminator. It's not the same motivation. So, like I say, I think the motivation is going to help a lot. Just being motivated and knowing what I'm working towards.
Were you surprised Strickland beat Izzy?
Yeah, I was a little surprised, but just watching the fight and listening to after, I mean, yeah, I feel Izzy, same thing, burnt out. Man, he just didn't go out there and fight. He didn't want to fight that night. So, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe he's getting a little older too. So, collaboration of things.
Right. In a 10-fight series, so to speak, who do you think wins the majority of the fights, Izzy or Strickland?
Izzy. I think Izzy wins in a 10-fight series. Maybe I'll say 7-3. Maybe.
Okay, something like that. All right. And just curious, because it is your weight class, Kamaru, and these guys, Kamaru Usman, Khamzat Chimaev at 185. That's this Saturday. Who do you like in that fight?
That's a tough one. Anytime you go to a short notice fight, you got to favor the other guy. But if anybody can do it, it's Usman. The guy's been around for a long time. He's a champion. He knows how to fight. He's strong. He can wrestle. So yeah, it should be a good fight. I just don't like the short notice factor.
Yeah, for Usman, right? Especially at his age.
Yes.
And the wear and tear. Right. And Khamzat hasn't fought in a year. You're still watching everything though, right? I mean, actually, I think you're actually a big gambler. I saw some of your parlays out there. You're crushing it. Do you have a system? Because I saw you allude to the fact that you have some sort of system. Can you tell me what the system is? Because we have a parlay team here too, and they're doing pretty well, but I don't know if they have a system. I think they're just kind of like, throwing things against the wall.
Yeah, no, I got a little system. Probably can't explain to you really great off the top of my head. I got like a whole bunch of notes.
Okay.
But I don't know. I watch a lot of sports, so I like to parlay a couple from each sport. And, I like to definitely just can't be something random or just, I don't pick just a minus 200, because those don't turn out well. It's funny. I had a parlay that was like a 12-team parlay, and I was 11 out of 12. I was on my last leg, and my last leg was a minus 500. It was Canelo.
Oh.
He might have been minus 600. And that's when he went up 2 weight classes and fought the Russian
Bivol
guy. Right. And you know how that went. So, no. Yeah, you just can't pick the minus 600. And I just rode. I was just chilling. this was early on when I first started like really getting into the parlays. But now I know the players that obviously has that last leg because I could have, it was like $40 to win $12,000, and I just let it ride, right?
Uh,
So I could have put a couple grand on that guy at minus the guy was like plus 600 or something like that. So I could put a couple grand on him, and I would have been 12 grand, profit, guaranteed profit.
damn.
So
What's the most amount
yeah,
that you won? One parlay.
one parlay, I probably won 30,000 on like a
What?
$250 bet.
No way.
Yeah, no, I'm slick, man. I'm slick with the parlays. The only thing that gets me is a straight bet. So like I'm working on staying away from the straight bets. The straight bets is how the book tell you to play. But at the same time, when you go into the casino, if you're playing blackjack, the book says take a lot of hits or take a hit. But that's how you lose. If you take a hit on every single thing, you're gonna lose before you even get a chance to see your other card. So like you got to play away from the book a little bit.
Wow. So you actually prefer parlays? That's your thing. You won't even bother.
Oh, oh,
Really?
straight bets are a clown bet. Like
Wow.
there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's funny. This guy I know that's been betting for a while. We were talking about betting, and he was like, "Yeah, man, that's how rich people get rich. He'll take a minus 300 and bet a whole bunch of money, and because it's guaranteed money." Man, I've seen so many like minus 400. Let's go Amanda Nunez or matter of fact, let's go a recent one on the Izzy fight. Some guy bet like 230 grand to win 30,000 or something like that. He bet 230 on Izzy. Yeah, most would think that that's for sure money before the fight. And look what happened when it occurs. Like betting straight bets and betting huge favorites is a joke. You might as well try to get some plus money or try to play some points or something like that, or try to do some prop bets. But yeah, that's the way I look at it. But for sure, I think straight bets are sucker bets. It's like, here, take this easy money, minus 200. Then the 200 loses and you get killed. But if it wins, you don't win that much. So,
What's your favorite sport to bet on? Like the one that you really like the most?
wow. I don't know. I might say tennis, to be honest.
Really? Wow. You're really a degenerate. You're betting on tennis?
No. So like I used to watch tennis a lot when Venus and Serena and like Nadal and Federer, when those guys were playing. But like, so I recently, when I started betting, I started tapping back in, and like I keep up. Like I know all the good players, and I know like the set props and stuff like that. So yeah, no. So I really like tennis is good, but sometimes tennis it gets you in trouble because there's always tennis and there's always a lot to play, and then I guess you kind of gotta be careful with those just random overseas in the middle of the night tournaments or games, whatever.
Are you staying up in the middle of the night to watch this stuff? To bet, like, is it consuming your life like that?
No, not like that. Not like that. I'll put a parlay in, and then I'll just go to bed and wake up. Sometimes I'll be on fire. I have like a 8-teamer going. I'll place like 5 tennis, and I wake up and I'll be 5 out of 8. I'll be 5 done. So I have 3 left.
Wow. Is there like a person or a team or whatever that like is just your guy or like you will never bet against them? This is your thing. Like they are just sure money for you. Your good luck charm, if you will.
No, for sure. I guess in every sport I have teams or that I won't bet against. Like for instance, like NFL. Tennessee played the Ravens, and I like betting the Ravens, and I just wouldn't bet against. I don't like betting against Derrick Henry because I feel like he's such a wild card. If he can get hot for a game and kill you for a whole bunch of yards, and then he can control the game. So if they get up early, that run game is going to take over. So like I don't like betting against Tennessee when it comes. I don't necessarily bet them, but I don't like betting against NFL.
Do you like betting MMA?
I do. MMA is kind of, I don't know. If I bet MMA, it has to be like prop bets or something like that, or it definitely have to be parlay. Like I won't like straight bet because it's always like minus 300 or minus 250 or minus 278. Like it's something like crazy like that. So I feel like to find value, you got to get some prop bets. Or you got to get maybe over under rounds, stuff like that. Like, but like for sure, MMA is cool, but I like to parlay it. But a lot of my friends, they love MMA. They love to bet just MMA. And I'm like, I like betting MMA, but it's more like I put those in parlays. I don't straight bet MMA.
Okay. And now it's great that you're out of the UFC. You can go back to betting on MMA, right?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I don't know why they stopped it in the first place. I mean, I guess It
Oh,
was messed up a little bit
yeah, it got a little
by
dicey.
a couple of individuals. But yeah, man, it's fun. It makes it fun. It makes it exciting to watch. Um, yeah, I don't feel like there's any like crazy things that you can like do as far as betting. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's cool. Yeah.
And no USADA either. Although PFL does have USADA, but it's not as like strict as the UFC's deal, right?
Yeah, PFL does have USADA, but I'm not sure exactly how it's ran. But I know they test you, but yeah, it's not like you don't have to log in and whereabouts and all that. I would say with the USADA, that was crazy. Just to like, I've never ever failed a drug test. I never did any illegal substances, but it was so annoying when they're like, "Hey, you're gonna get a failure because
Yeah.
you took a last minute trip to go train." I'm like, "What?" Like, you guys should have an agent set up anywhere where I can just go drop in and submit a sample. You know, it shouldn't be like if I forget, then I'm like deemed as a guy who actually failed a drug test. You know,
It's crazy. You have to update 24/7, 365. And you guys are fighting 3 times a year. I mean, don't get me started on this. Independent contractors. You know, it's like me telling the guy who fixes my garage where he has to be Thursday at 1 when he's not working for me. What? You're independent.
for
Oh, and by the way, wear this. You got to wear this. When you go out and do your job next door, you got to wear this uniform because you're independent. But you guys got a uniform too at the PFL. I actually like what the PFL do. I don't like the uniform. Enough with the uniform. What is this? This is not team sports. Let the guys wear whatever they want. Let your person. I want to see you come out to something, you know, that represents you.
No, for sure. Boxing definitely
Yes.
has it all with that. Like you can be like yourself. You know, like yeah, that's super dope. You know, I like how you can like come out in your uniform and feel good, look good. You can come out whatever makes you feel good, ready to fight.
I like that T-shirt. Fresh Prince of
Oh, you
Violence.
like that? Yeah, you like that?
Is that you?
See, I made this shirt, man. I got the meme shirts going on.
I like it. And you got the blonde hair back. You're never going to go away
A little
from the
bit.
blonde hair again, right? I think for a minute there you went away from it. You got to, I mean, that's your thing.
That's my thing. Yeah, blonde Brunson.
That's
We're
right.
gonna bring you the seat.
You're the man. Well, I'm happy for you, Derek. Congrats on the new deal. November 24th, you are back in the PFL cage. It's on the prelims, right? It's not on the pay-per-view portion because that's all the title fights, right? I believe it's on the prelims. You're fighting against Ray Cooper.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to be on the card. You know, I signed a contract, get to the gym, and get ready for that fight, and then the rest, however they set it up, that's on them. You know, I'm coming to fight.
And then you got to get ready for the Bellator Invasion in 2024.
Oh, you heard about that?
Well, you didn't. You know what? I think they should do Team PFL versus Team Bellator. 5 fighters from PFL, 5 fighters from Bellator in each weight class, and see which organization wins out. Isn't that a good idea?
It's not that if they own both. I mean, it's really no bad thing, I guess, huh?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Derek Brunson versus Vadim Nemkov. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, Derek. Congrats. Great to have you back on the show. Appreciate it, and good luck on November 24th.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. My eyes look a little squinty.
No, you look fantastic, man. You've never looked better. You've never looked better. There he is, Derek Brunson. Appreciate his time. The newest member of the PFL light heavyweight division, although on November 24th, he is competing in their middleweight division against Ray Cooper, is coming up from 170. That's a really fun fight. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.